You are watching #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And Ryan Whitman is with us on Spirit, and together all of us are
Break.
family. How's every single one of you? 7 minutes after AEW Dynamite has ended, Jean-Paul is semi-happy, semi-pissed, because he saw one of his boys, toy collector, Chelsea Green's fiance, and also he was a good wrestler too. Zack Ryder, aka Mark Lucius Cardona. So, I was a pretty, I will say,
lots of surprises.
A lot of surprises up to the main event. Pretty good show. The main event is a little bit a little boring. Like a lot of things that are doing, they're not making a lot of sense. And we're gonna cover every single thing of it. But I want just Jean-Paul to summarize the feeling of his soul after seeing Matt Cardona, and then really Ricky Starks completely jobbed out.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Matt Cardona, that was a huge pop. You knew he was going there. Him and Cody are friends. It's like a bunch of people went to Impact. He wasn't going to go there, so clearly you knew where he was going to go. That was cool. But the only real problem I had with this, besides just the outcome of the main event, was just the typical AEW bullshit. In my opinion, is just spots. It's You're just waiting. I don't care when spots happen, but it's got to be real smooth. Like I say, you can't be standing there holding a guy and looking up and going, "Okay, are you going to hit me now?" And then it's really.
Well, you know that this. I mean, Brian Cage is a good wrestler. John Moxley, I will say, he's never been a great wrestler.
No,
his best. In Darby, I don't know. Maybe it's they need more chemistry together to give something better. But and also the stipulation of Tornado tag team. Nobody's used to it unless you play WWE 2K games, because that you have to be on like this. Instead, they're used to getting the tag and getting all hyped up. Nope. But like you said, the main event is lacking a lot of things right now. Even now I feel that it's going to be spiced up, though, because MJF got a great promo. So we're going to go over all of it. So thank you so much, family, for supporting us in every single thing that we do. We have a lot of news in the page. We were covering, just not in a video, but the news about Impact. So it's a good show also. Monday Night Raw review with Jean-Paul and myself. I kind of filled in this week, so Jean-Paul doesn't feel alone. So, don't forget to check that out, family. So Jean-Paul, start me with the Inner Circle against the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. They have a whole, of course, 10-man tag. And like Jean-Paul says, this is not good. If you're looking for professional wrestling, or at least a good match, is not this. This will not be the type of match that you're going to fall in love with.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. This match wasn't advertised as the Tornado. There was only one Tornado, but even Jim Ross said on commentary, is this match Tornado 2? Because guys were just that nobody respects the rules, and then they're Shivani tries to cover it up. He tries to spray aerosol on a big pile of shit. He's Aubrey Edwards is she likes to let the wrestlers go so the fans get what they want. No, none of these wrestlers, they're all indie bullshit and they don't respect rules, and it's that's fine because that's the product you want to put on. It's not the product I enjoy the most, but it's the one you want to put on. So advertise it as that. Don't advertise it as we're professional, we're legit, when it's not, or at least be we have lucha rules. When a guy leaves the ring, another guy goes in the ring.
It's true.
Do something like that.
Yeah, and this type of matches are just kind of they become spots fest. And that's what we saw, Marco Stunt, Luchasaurus threw him, he was celebrating against Jericho. And a lot of
I'm going to be honest. When he threw Marco Stunt, I was looking away and I heard this scream and I thought it was a woman that was in the crowd, one of the wrestlers. And then I looked up and I saw this, yeah, and I'm okay.
Yeah, so it's not something that again you want to look at it or watch it for good professional wrestling. So it's just it's a spot fest. They need to have a lot of people in the match, in the show. Why? Name value. And what I did enjoy is of course, this match to me there's kind of more funny. The tone is a lot more to entertain. And this for example, to me is entertain. For example, remember when Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and the Best Friends did the hug, and then they did the cameo all the way out and they zoom out. So that's cool.
And then do you remember when he lost his face? Because he's a real dinosaur.
Yeah. So that's those kind of things. But like you said, at the end it became just a spot fest more because when Jericho hit the code breaker, a lot of things happened. Sammy Guevara was about to win because he did go to sleep. But then Matt Hardy's music hit, And Matt Hardy, like we actually reported, Matt Hardy is going to go back to no gimmick. It's just going to be single Matt Hardy. Why? Because John Paul and I already said it, they screwed up that character so bad that there's no going back.
Yeah, he realized that everybody hates it, so he's like, nobody hates real life Matt Hardy, right? You know, maybe I can get over being me because everybody hates all my gimmicks.
Yes, so pretty much that's what happened, and then they allow Luchasaurus to do the spinning heel kick. Really, really cool. I like that. And 1, 2, 3, and then the faces went. So cool stuff. I mean, like, are we invested in this? Not a lot. I don't think so. Like, I feel that, like, again, the main event.
No, because, and I mean, the main focus of this was supposed to be the Jericho Orange Cassidy feud. That's the main purpose of this. You know, we saw more of this, you know, into the night, and this feud is going to continue on in the next couple weeks. But they could do a way better way of presenting this feud. Like, yeah, their match was legit. Was it the best in AEW history? No, I don't think so. They don't have a very long history, but I don't think this was their best match. But they're taking this feud, which is pretty good, and to me, they're just making it worse. By adding all this other, like, you know, now we're getting into the politics. They announced the thing, we're going to do a debate because Orange Cassidy doesn't talk, so that's now, that's going to be funny, and it's all this other stuff. And, I mean, the best political thing they did tonight was with MJF.
MJF was really great. We're going to get there in a little bit, but before that, you know, John Moxley had a promo backstage. He says he doesn't like to get in feuds, but I ended up finishing them. You know, I don't like to, you know, start fights. I don't like to, like, be hated by everybody. But unfortunately, they come to me and I have to end them. So, yeah, that's what happened. So that's, like, the promo that he cut a little bit, you know, before, like, the main event that they were going to have. Because that was the main event. And like John Paul was saying, that was advertised as Tornado Tag Match. But what we have first is, like, the TNT Championship. And that was, like, Cody Rhodes defending against Warhorse. In a match that, like, I did like it. I think the guy, Warhorse, was a pretty good wrestler. See, and they did wrestle. Indeed, they wrestled.
Yeah, this was a good match. I did enjoy this a lot. I thought Warhorse looked good. It was a good debut for him. I like, you know, like his look, his gimmick. He doesn't just look like a guy in trunks. You know what I mean? Like, he has the look, he has the gimmick. He's like the rock star. It reminds me like Ultimate Warrior fused with like Kiss or something. Like, he's like a rocker, but, you know, he has that vibe to him. And it was a good match, but, you know, was Cody going to lose? No, probably not. I don't think he's going to He's going to lose it on a pay-per-view. I could also see him holding this title for a year. Being like, I defended it every Wednesday for a year straight, blah, 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 to, you know, for whatever reason, for his own ego. But, you know, this was a great match. And, you know, Warhorse, I hope they sign him. I don't think they signed Eddie Kingston or, you know, a couple other people who he went against. But I do hope that they sign Warhorse.
Well, you said it, John Paul, many weeks ago. If they're gonna keep signing guys, where the hell are you gonna need, like, you know, I mean, they're gonna need NXT, SmackDown, and Raw? You know, there's no point. I mean, give them the rub. Hey, is it legit that you work with us? Hey, you know, if there's somebody that you need to fill in, yeah, sure. You know, it's kind of like those contracts. You do your stuff independently, but if we need you, then come over here. You know, you're here part time. You know, you only work here, like, you know, like 5 to 8. You know, you do register and done. So,
I mean, that's it. Like with Warhorse, I mean, like I said, I hope they sign him, but I mean, I just hope or somebody signs him, rather. I could see him, you know, if when NWA starts back up or even Impact, he's getting steam. But again, they're the same thing. You don't want to sign a lot of people, so, you know, it's tough. Maybe he should just stick to the
indies. Yeah, no, like the match that you said, but like, I don't know why anybody like has like the power to like be defeated by the Crossroads, so they have to get, you know, done by like the figure four.
And what do you think? And then before, because like you said, it was the figure four. Of course, he bridged. He had to tap out, which the story was the story was the leg. So he was working over the leg. They're like, oh, you know, injured leg, this and that. So like I'm like, okay, figure four, that's fine. But what do you think of this whole like Cody's being cocky and Arn Anderson's like, oh my God, I can't stand how Cody acts during the matches. Like, what do you think of that?
I just think that, like, I think that, like, maybe, like, a subtle heel turn, you know, kind of like like you said, like, dissension between the manager or the coach and Cody is because, like, oh, I'm the champion and, you know, I'm better than
you know what I want to see? I mean, if they do that, I would almost want to see something where, and they screwed it up, which, okay, big surprise, they screwed something up. You should have kept FTR heel. And you could have had Arn Anderson leave Cody and go to FTR because him and FTR seem like good buddies.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would have been better. I really think that. And also, like, if you think about it, out of all these people that he's been facing, right? He's never been in disadvantage. So, of course, he has to act a little bit, like, more, a little better because he's not a Lance Archer. He's not, you know, a big dude. It's just like, Sonic is. I mean, no offense to anybody, but again, we always says ranking-wise, or at least height-wise. Tiny Kiss, Warhorse, like Eddie Kofi Kingston, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. And then I mean that was probably the closest he came to losing. I would say was against Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
I mean this match tonight. There was with that like the elbow drop, was legit by Warhorse, but
I like the stomp too, like when he was walking on the outside and again Cody's like, like that. That was cool. So like it's a good match, and in the end, like the members for the Dark Order started attacking Cody, and also like they didn't do anything with Arn Anderson, and Arn Anderson is like, all right, let's go. And then Jean-Paul kind of beat his fan a little bit, but I just think a little bit. It was just a few drops because Mad with no palm, nothing. Just Mad Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder, shows up. And then he takes care of like the members from the Dark Order, and then he hugs Cody. Jean-Paul has been teasing this for the longest time. He knows that they're best friends. So like we knew that this was gonna happen. Did I like how like this was presented? Not too much. Because like he deserved a little better.
Yeah, I think it should have been something where, he beat Warhorse, he beat all these guys. It should have been like, who's gonna step up to the plate? Who's gonna challenge Cody? Who's gonna do it? It's like, or what is it? What is this thing? Woo, woo, woo,
woo,
I mean, obviously they can't do that, but, because WWE owns everything. But, play off that, and that's how he should have debuted. He should have debuted. I think they could have had, like, maybe a 15-minute time limit. I don't know, how long Ryder can go, if he's still got the cardio from not working for how long, but let these guys go to distance, boom, a draw, then he looks good. Because I think in this, he debuts. Now they said next week they're going against 2 members of the Dark Order in a tag match, but it's like it's not even the legit Dark Order. It's like number 5 and like Alex Reynolds or somebody. So it's like, okay.
It like, see, those are the things that like you get a little confused by the ruling, by how they put the matches together. I think that like him debuting is good because he's Zack Ryder or Cardona, however you want to call it. He has a lot of potential. This guy could have been world champion. He was able to get over by himself. But like Jean-Paul saying, maybe I feel that like the best way is like to tease a feud between Cody and him, and then just having in a draw. Use that feature that not WWE has, that is the draw. So just use it. The friendship continues. Hey, maybe you take that friendship.
Yeah, because like I mean now Darby. Now, Zack Ryder or Cardona, he already has his fans, so he's already over. But look how Darby Allin got over when he was in that match with Cody and they had a draw. So I hope the same thing could happen with Cardona.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. So like that's the stuff that is going on. But I was really excited about his debut. So that's important. Now we go to FTR. Like you said, like they're teasing a friendship with Arn Anderson. They're checking like the specifics of the contract that they're about to sign because they're gonna have like a tag team invitational, as far as I know. But like they're guaranteed a tag team World Heavyweight Championship match. So like they checking the specifics of it. So Arn Anderson comes in. He's like, "What's up, man? What's up, sons?" And then he sits down. He checks like the clauses and like, okay, make sure that like he goes daba 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 clothesline, daba 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 like a hip toss, like and then they kind of sign. And then you see Adam Hanman Page coming in and celebrating. So you see, like you said, unfortunately, the Revival or FTR are faces. I don't know why, but like they're faces at this point. So it's not, something that I want to see. At least I'm not excited.
I don't know if that was their plan all along or if AEW is worse than WWE. But as soon as like some guy gets cheered in AEW, they turn him face.
Yeah, no,
it's like right. let us cheer the heels. Like follow your story and your script. If these guys are the bad guys, keep them the bad guys.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. And it's also like what they did announce, like I said, tag team appreciation night. So they're gonna have a match to whoever is the tag team champions at the time. So it's interesting, but like you said, they should be the heel ones because that's what they're used to be. They're not the babyface tag team. So that's kind of like weird for me. We'll see what like the developing of that. But with the way that AEW has been developing certain characters, scare could be one of the options. Concern could be another one. So you use your word choosing.
Exactly.
So now Jean-Paul talking about tag teams. Let's go to tag team championship match. Dark Order, Stu Grayson, Evil, Uno, those straps against Kenny Omega and Adam Hanman Page. Adam Hanman Page comes out. He's actually started feuding like right away, going into the match with like the Dark Order, and then Kenny's like, I like, fuck. He's like, I'm getting late. So he's like, what the hell? Can you wait? Can I live? So like,
my whole thing is maybe they should come out together. Maybe they should actually be a legit tag team and come out together instead of, having... I mean, obviously, it's all for the story. Yes. But it's like, hey, why don't you come out together? Then this shit won't happen.
Yes, and I see the match, the Dark Order is like... we always said the Dark Order is a great team. So, like, it was a pretty decent match. It's like, they had us, like, not too long. Like, 10 minutes probably. But, like, very good. The spots were in. Like, they had chances to win. Like, they put Hangman Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, like, against the wall in a few situations. Good. But in the end, they did the last call. And then, like, the count was a little messy, though. Don't you think? The count was a little messy because when he was about to hit 3 counts to Grayson, he's like, should I grab him or should I not? He's like, like, show is over. Got to continue. Stop.
Yeah, I feel that's the thing. I feel like nobody knows really what's going on. Like, it's all, they kind of have an idea, but there's not enough communication. And all these guys are veterans enough that stuff like that shouldn't happen. But it wasn't, they got the 3 count, so it was all legit. Colt Cabana was on commentary. I like that. That adds something new to the Dark Order because the Dark Order is supposed to be all like evil, and the Colt Cabana's like, "Hey guys, it's all good. It's all legit." So he's like,
the Dark Order for me is completely lost, and that's the thing. Like the best things that they had going on, they've been able to mess them up. So I don't understand. And what's the reason, Jean Paul? I already told you why Taz was on commentary. Excalibur, there's a lot of videos that surface in the internet, came using a word that starts with N, and we will not say it because we want to be in Bro Break. We don't want like Taz or like Tony Giovanni doing Bro Break, but like, like that's why the situation. Like I don't know if he's under fire or maybe, Tony Khan or like Robert Stone was like, hey, take a week off. So like the thing, goes away and then come back.
He'll come back without the mask on. No one will know who it is.
Yeah, exactly. So, Mr. America. So, like you said, it was good. And like I said, they retained, and then Brody Lee comes out, and he's like, "Oh, you think this is funny?" And Hangman Page, and then he starts beating Stu Grayson and Evil Loon. He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" So that looks even worse for me. I don't like that.
This is all supposed to be because commentary was like, "Oh, they had a legit match. This was really close. They could have easily became new tag team champs. They shouldn't hang their head. They should feel happy." And then Brody Lee's like, degrading them and hitting them. It's all still supposed to just be a parody of Vince McMahon. Yeah. It's all still supposed to be like, oh, look at, all these people who wrestle for him. They do such a good job. And Vince is like, oh, you're shitty. You're bullshit. You're blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I mean, I don't think that's how it goes. I'm sorry. Like the
other thing that bothers me is like the promos from before, remember? They don't do any justice to what we got.
No.
And, I don't think there's a single guy in the wrestling community, anybody that watches wrestling, any of our fans, any of the people that follow us, that like does not agree, that doesn't disagree to that. The close promos deserve so much better than like what we really got in the Dark Order. So, it was like they start attacking, like all the members from the Dark Order came up, and, we all think that like they're going to get the upper hand, right? No, because the Young Bucks show up, and all of a sudden 2 guys are able to overpower like 20. This becomes Rambo First Blood, like 2, and then he kills, like 20 people with 1 gun that like shoots 5 bullets. So,
when you're booking the show and the Young Bucks, again, nothing against, anybody should be allowed to wrestle and be in the sport, but I'm sorry, how is it believable when you have 2 guys who are like, 5'9" and 5'8", and they're super kicking all these guys over 6 foot? It's like, come on.
Well, that, and like I said, like if there's so many members of the Dark Order, it doesn't matter. They should be able to overpower because there are more guys.
Well, yeah.
And then in the end, they don't get anything. So like the Dark Order, you keep bearing it. No, it just doesn't make any sense. But let's move on to like Diamante. I'm very excited because I'm a big fan of Diamante from Cuba. She's legit. She used to be partners with LAX with Santana and Ortiz. So you see like the relationship between them. And she went against Hikaru. Yeah. So like the match, it was pretty good up to like certain spots, but I think the language barrier came about. When she's about to hit the Falcon Arrow, they took a good minute because she goes against Falcon Arrow. She goes, what? Well, Falcon Arrow. Falcon Arrow is like, okay. So like, get up. So like, I think
remember they said, oh, look at the stalling, look at the suplex, and they're like, and like again, commentary. I feel bad for them when they have to like try to like talk over these like at least in WWE. I'm not trying to be like WWE is the greatest thing ever, but like normally when that stuff happens, commentary, all they have to really say is, oh, I don't think he got all of that. And then they just move on. Yeah,
they don't know how to really fix it. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Well, is that the commentary team is like it's been having like so many people though. You know, like for example, now Excalibur's not there. Okay, let's put Taz. Taz is not used to doing commentary all the time. Oh, you know, Jericho is there. But like you said, like it's important like to think that like there was a little bit of miscommunication. The match came out really pretty decent though. Good promo by Diamante. That was cool. I'm looking forward for her to be signed. Hopefully that happens because that will be also like a few Hispanic.
I believe she is because she wrestled a couple times on AEW Dark, so I believe she is.
So that's cool. But, you know, I'm really looking for that.
Yeah, and the one thing with how everything is a mess, you know, with people being faces when they should be heels, and matches just being spot fest instead of wrestling. You know, I feel like the women's division is almost the best thing going on in AEW.
Yeah. No, right now it's like actually they fixed it very good, and now it's really interesting. Also, like we had like Jean-Paul mentioned, like Le Champion came out and he's really pissed with the Inner Circle because they pretty much they're upset because they lost. So Le Champion, like it was talking about Orange Cassidy, they're gonna have that debate. I don't know what this is going for. They go, Sammy Guevara, how do you say son of a bitch in Spanish? And son of a bitch, Joe. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So not too great. And then we got like the first the draft, right? For the Deadly Draw for the Women's Tag Team Championship, and we saw Vicky Guerrero with Nyla Rose, so she had to pick somebody. So yeah,
they're just going by color. Like you don't pick your partner, you just pick a random color, and then or somebody else picks a color. I see. That's what I don't, But if you pick blue, and I want to be on your team, I can easily be like, oh, well, give me blue. So I don't like that. It should be like random. It should be one person just picks everybody's name at once.
I mean,
you know what I mean? So I don't know how they're doing it, but yeah, Nyla Rose, she picked purple, and then her partner, who I guess I was supposed to know who that is, but I had no clue who the hell this.
Oh yeah, that's Cameron. That's Cameron. Like she used to be like she went Ariane because that's her real name, but Cameron, she used to come out with like a Trinity that's Naomi. That's from the Funkadactyls when it was Albert or Matt Bloom at that time. Sweet Tea, Sweet Tea, and Brutus.
Brutus Clay.
Brutus Clay, yes.
Yeah.
So like they were all the Funkadactyls. So like and also Naomi and Trinity. Naomi and Cameron. They became really popular because they were the first. They were in the first season of Total Divas.
Okay.
That's why. So she's not a great wrestler, but I mean, she's probably friends with Brandy Rhodes because of that time. Vicky Guerrero also, all that time is like when
AEW friends and family. Yep.
So hey, I mean, in that if you can help somebody, I mean, if you're gonna make him a superstar, that I don't know, but I mean, hey, I mean, she's been trying in the indies.
I agree in that, but if you're gonna help somebody help out Rope Break, that would be legit.
I mean, well, help us out. That would be pretty cool. We're not gonna be upset about that, but that's what happened. So we're gonna see. It's yet to see because it's like going to be a girl that like can be pretty much flexible because that's what she used to do. I've seen a little bit of her matches. She's not terrible, but like I don't know how much she's improved. And then we got a powerhouse in Nyla Rose. So that was pretty much what happened. And then Jean-Paul, we go also to like Britt Baker. She got a promo talking about Big Swole. She was kind of pretty much saying that she's going to come back for All Out. So we'll see what happens. But before Big Swole gets to her, then she has to beat an opponent of her choosing. So we'll see what happens on that. A lot of, always developing stories on Dynamite. Now we go to the best promo from MJF. He pretty much addressed to the nation. Extremely great. Like you said, he said brother from Hulk Hogan. He was saying facts about John Moxley. Like saying, wrestling is, people think that it's a spot fest. It's just, super kicks. Nobody really cares about professional wrestling. It's like John Moxley, like has pretty much handcuffed this. Is not letting it be what it could be. And I'm the one that is going to save it. And I'm challenging John Moxley for a AEW World Heavyweight Championship on All Out. Really great promo.
This was a legit promo. He said Dictator John, he's coming in here. He's coming from the land of Titans, WWE Titan Tower. And he thinks he can run the place. And he's like, you've seen this happen all over. And that's when he kind of made the brother reference, like when Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff came in and completely killed TNA. So... it was a legit promo. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
MJF, he needs to win the belt. Moxley, I'll get into this. Well, I mean, I'll just mention it now. I don't have to say in the main event. His best wrestling is behind him. His best wrestling is in WWE when they said, no, you actually have to wrestle. Now he came to AEW and he's like, oh, can I just do my CZW hardcore shit? And they're like, yeah, that's legit. And that's all he wants to do. And also cosplay as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
It's not like the greatest. I don't think that like I don't think he's been also portrayed as like a great thing on AEW as champion. So, you know, the fact that like Jericho can overshadow him easily, you know, like the main stories were not him defending the AEW title. I think that's a problem. But like MJF, like says, he is absolute gold on the mic. And by a promo like this, you just know that like when All Out takes place, he's gonna be. And there's no other way that you can finish this by putting the belt on MJF. Do I think it's too soon? Maybe it's too soon, just because MJF can have multiple title runs, but is a way to trust the best heel in the business, not in AEW, in the business. Yeah. So I think that like because he didn't lose it to Jake Hager, done. He didn't lose it to Brian Cage, done. Okay, what guy can be the one? MJF. There's no other guy. So that's what happens, Jean Paul. I agree with you. Great promo. Making fun of WWE, and I agree to the second statement that he is not actually wrestling. He's just more like, yeah, I'm a badass brawler, and that's all I do. The last time he wrestled, it was with Kenny Omega. But why? Because Kenny Omega, you're forced to wrestle because it's Kenny Omega. So we go now to the main event, Jean Paul, like you said, and that was a tornado tag match. Ryan Cage and Ricky Starks, they cut a legit promo. Like waiting kind of Darby Allin. Really great promo. Ricky Starks got probably like one of the best promos in his entire career, because he's a short career yet, but very good, very fluent, like intense. And in the end, what happens, Jean Paul? They lose.
Yeah, I mean the match. I mean it wasn't very long. You know, by the time this thing really got going, there was like barely 10 minutes left, and you know you're watching this thing, and again I said spots. Moxley or Cage was supposed to catch Darby Allin on the outside. He completely dropped him. Then he picked him up and he held him for what seemed like an eternity till Moxley hit the ropes, flew across the ring, and did a dive. It's like, why wouldn't you just throw the guy at Moxley? That would have been badass if they would have collided in midair, and Cage just laughs at him. You know, but of course, why would we see anything that made sense? And there was, you know, just I don't even know. It was all spots. I can't even tell you a wrestling move. The only time I saw a wrestling move, I think at the end in the pathetic when Moxley had the armbar on Cage again, and Cage was like, and he couldn't save Ricky Starks from getting pinned.
Yeah. No, and I think like Darby Allin did his move onto like the thumbtacks, right? Because that's
well, he had the skateboard with the thumbtacks, and he did that on Ricky Starks' back, which I mean, yeah, that's cool. But it was cool when we saw it the first time. When we saw it the second time, okay, it was still pretty cool. The third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th time we see it, it's really not cool anymore.
Yeah,
especially when you see it this often.
Yes, and even Taz was like, hey, you know, he's using that skate as a weapon. It shouldn't be allowed. Blah, blah, blah. And then the worst came out, Jean Paul. I don't know you kept attention. You were paying attention to that. They said next week is going to be Jon Moxley defending against Darby Allin.
Yeah, but that's a throwaway match. That's a match.
He goes to the number 5 spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's it's a throwaway match because they don't care. They're like, oh, we know the fans jerk off to Darby Allin, so we'll throw him a bone. He'll lose, or you know, Cage and Starks will get involved. It'll end in a DQ again, and you know,
So like, see, like the only thing I feel that AEW the tag team is okay. I mean, there's a little things with the FTR, whatever, you know, but like the main event needs to get a little better, more structure. You know, like the fact that you have a lot of guys, you know, fighting with each other, but in the end, the faces always win. Is not helping the heels to get more heat and develop themselves. A lot of people already, like Jean Paul already says, for me, Brian Cage is done. Might as well go back to Impact, challenge Moose for the TNA Championship and a triple threat with Heats later, and it's fine. I'll be good.
Yeah.
But like in a short career, you know, if you think about it, Brian Cage has not won a match, a meaningful match, aside of like the one that he had a Double or Nothing. Because if you keep winning an AEW Dark, that doesn't mean anything. Yep. AEW Dark is like winning like that main event. Nobody watches.
Hey, I have 7 wins on Velocity. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Oh,
that's
I won on AEW Dark.
For you. Can you bring the tapes? Because we don't watch that. So
yeah, exactly.
Jean Paul, your closing thoughts before we go, please.
My closing thoughts, you said it perfectly. Tag division is all right. Couple things I would fix and it would be pretty good. Women's division is good, but the whole entire singles male division is a complete clusterfuck. It's like they took all their action figures, put them in a box, shook it, dumped it on the floor, and they said that's how we're booking it.
They need, you know, like they need like clear good heels, you know. And for example, Neville or Neville is gonna come back soon.
Yeah,
Bobby's gonna come back soon at some point. You know that they need him. Where's he gonna be? It's just, you know, they need to really like straighten it out. We're not saying he's not savable. We're saying that they need to structure a little better. Create those mid-card feuds So then whoever wins can be like a contender for a championship. But Jean Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Original Rope Break, Twitter, The OG Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the best reviews in all of wrestling, in the entire YouTube wrestling community.
Yeah, see,
right here on The Original
all
Rope
of you,
Break.
Family. All the sweat that I have is because of all of you. See, this is what I do for all of you. See?
Yep,
right here, for all of you, for all the analysts.
And I wear these to hide the tears. And
yeah,
there's no blood. There's no blood.
But see, that's the sweat that we do for keep analyzing these shows. So Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is